I never needed no fancy disguise or dark sunglasses to detect their lies. 'Cause I spied for the MI5. Yes, I spied for the MI5. And I survived. Another flight to another post, a borrowed desk and another host. I taught their elite the craft to stay alive as I quietly served the MI5. I met the suits, I shook their hands, I read the rooms in foreign lands. I played their silly games, all with good form, a calm instructor in the eye of a storm. From Cairo's dry heat to Oslo's deep cold, instructing staff to do as they're told. I watch the watchers working from within. I fulfill the brief, so pour me a slow gin. In Athens a diplomat once let slip, and their cover was blown, revealing a name they should never have known. In my dress someone shredded a top secret file, claiming a mistake, it was in the wrong pile. When I spied for the MI5, yes I spied for the MI5, and I survived. When I spied for the MI5, yes I spied for the MI5, and I survived. Another posting that was sealed and signed, an unfavorable report that I left behind. I packed away my key, closed up the case, and left the mission without leaving a trace. Passed straight through Heathrow security gate. My handler was waiting, he never was late. A quiet side room, a cup of weak tea, a brief on what had happened, on what did I see. Another official stamp, another great seal, another embassy where truths can congeal. I was there to read those most subtle of signs, when things had slipped between those official lines. Those years left echoes that I can still hear, in soft footsteps that increasingly draw near. I carry truths, none of them mine, wrapped up in silence as unraveled one at a time. When I spied for the MI5, yes I spied for the MI5, and I survived. When I spied for the MI5, yes I spied